Good news! Well, Frontier has finally announced it. I mean, I was assuming it was a given, but hey, they finally announced it. F1 Manager 23 is coming to us very, very soon. Or at least hopefully very soon. It came out, late summer last year, so I imagine it'll be the same this year. But yeah, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while once they finally announced that the title was coming. What do I want to see in the game next year or this year? New one. And so basically, I've come up with a few things I can particularly think of. In terms of new modes, it's kind of lacking on that front. But really, just want to see some more improvements to the various gameplay elements of the title. Now here's the thing. Frontier Developments, absolutely phenomenal developer. They come out with great, tycoon-ish games like Jurassic World Evolution and that series, which actually kind of got to go off to a slow start in its initial title, but improved with future updates and in Jurassic World Evolution 2. But they're also the developers of Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, which is like, you can build it however you want. Now, given that they are dealing with the official F1 license, it's not going to be as freeform as you can imagine. There's going to be no creative team and all that. It's going to be kind of like Jurassic World Evolution, where it's kind of binded to the limitations of what you could possibly do with the title, basically. So, no, I don't think Frontier is going to do anything like, hey, we're going to license Nissan, in case you want to, bring in Nissan as an engine developer, or whatever, like Cadillac. Although, hey, maybe if Cadillac does join F1 one day, well, that's going to be probably a few years from now. So, that's not happening. But, here's a couple things that I want to look at for this season. Number one, the depth. So, yeah, this game's a really good launching point for the title in terms of various things you can work on, like R&D and all that. But there's other things that I really would have liked to work on a little bit more, like driver academies. You can basically just scoop up any single F2 or F3 driver, but it'd be nice if you could have like a pool and you can actively manage how they do in F2 and F3. Now, you're probably not going to get the ability to, manage an individual race in F2 and F3, but to take on a squadron of cars and drivers, more like, that'd be pretty neat to control. And, hey, if you're Red Bull, maybe you can have like some special, like you can control certain aspects of AlphaTauri. It's all about driver pipelines. Because, hey, Perez goes, you're probably going to get someone from the Red Bull Driver Academy. Maybe someone from AlphaTauri. Who knows? And back to the R&D point. Yeah, it's pretty neat. You can kind of tweak what part of the cars you want to adjust. But I kind of like stuff like R&D failures, almost like RNG aspects like you'd have in the EA Sports F1 titles, where hey, this department wants you to take a look at this. Hey, this department has something going on with them that's going to cause a delay of getting parts on your car. Or, hey, we had an issue with developing the car in between the off season. Throw some money at it and fix it, or try finding a workaround, and that might take a little bit longer. Might not get upgrades in time. That kind of stuff I'd really go for, because right now it's like everything's perfect. And you just upgrading your staff facilities can maybe increase the time and the ability or the strength of your upgrades. But it's just little random things that can throw a wrench into your plans. That'd be something I'm interested in. Also, with the engine suppliers, my playthrough obviously were Mercedes. I can't change a Mercedes because that'd just be weird. The engine does not change from year to year, so we're always down a little bit of power, and I have to throw a lot of points into like the underfloor and everything to keep the car competitive. Now, if you're a team that basically is the lead team for a engine supplier, so Ferrari, Alpine, Red Bull, and Mercedes, it'd be fun if you could actually use some resource points or anything towards developing the engine. This way, you can get more teams wanting to use your power plants, and maybe that could get you some sort of financial benefit of some sort. Now, going into the various weekend formats that need to be changed, obviously sprint races, totally lacking from F1 Manager 22. Those need to be added in 23. And I'm positive they will, but, if they're gone, that's kind of a big swing and a miss from Frontier on that. But some things I like to see is practice can be a bit more beneficial, where you can try getting various different benefits out of practice programs, like kind of what you get in the EA series, and how, in real life, teams, besides trying to get the balance of the car right, maybe they're trying to skew the car a bit more towards, high downforce setups for the future. You can do some R&D programs, test out some prototype parts, just try various things there. Be a bit more interesting than, just trying to get the balance and just trying to log laps to get your driver acclimated to track and whatnot. And so, reaching point number 2, or thing number 2 that I want for F1 Manager 23, big AI improvements. So, first off, it's kind of a minor gripe. So I'm wrapping up the 2024 campaign with Mercedes, and isn't it odd that there's no new drivers in the sport? I mean, I had to bring in Nick DeVries, and that was just me trying to be creative. But yeah, there's no other F2 drivers. I mean, who's new this season in real life? Piastri, Logan Sargent, Nick DeVries. It's probably someone else, and I can't remember him. But yeah, there's usually more driver turnover, and that's something that should be worked on with the teams, or maybe even just the main engine of the game. Maybe the F2 and F3 drivers need to gain abilities a bit more quickly, and there needs to be more fall off. I don't think there's any reason why Fernando Alonso needs to be, continuing to improve as a driver. I know the rate improvement decreases as the drivers get older, but I don't think Lewis at this point in the game really should be rated that high. And I'm not knocking Lewis, obviously he's a phenomenal driver, but yeah, when you're pushing 40, I don't think you should be around 90 overall. Call me ageist. I dare you. So, also when it comes to race, I kind of feel like the teams are a bit too hardwired to whatever the preset strategies are. Like, you barely see, unless you're coming to the end of life cycle on the tires, you never see the teams really come in during a safety car. And something I'd like to see, and you could probably work on this, AI, and this also goes into depth, is race engineers providing, alternate strategies mid-race. It's like, hey, we did the math, and maybe this will work. What with the safety car or this VSC, or even with rain coming, hey, we can look at changing up to this sort of strategy and all that. So that's another thing I would definitely like to see, because it's almost a little easy to beat the AI with their strategies. And obviously, we're not invincible because Red Bull and Ferrari made huge gains, but our car is not that good and we're able to stay up there. So AI definitely needs some work on that front. Also, another thing I've done is, in early episodes, back when I would kind of do Q1 and Q2 myself, because now I just kind of simulate them and just do Q3 myself, is I would use the same soft tire compound, or even go to mediums occasionally in Q1. Every opportunity the AI gets to use brand new softs, they take it, and they always start on scuffs if they made it to Q3. Which, if you ask me, doesn't seem optimal. I usually like, if I know starting on softs is viable, I'll save a fresh set and take it from there so we can make them last a little bit longer. Be nice if the AI could smarten themselves up and do that as well. So I'm also looking for gameplay improvements for this year's title, but if we had to add a gameplay mode, I'd be very interested, and let's put a big asterisk next to this thing. I'd be very interested in seeing if scenario mode or historical scenario mode could be a thing. Now, I'm not sure how licensing or likeness laws work, especially for as big of an international property that Formula One is. But it'd be really interesting to do playthroughs of classic battles like Senna Prost, Schumacher Hakkinen, and 2012, where it was every single team was putting a win in the column there. So hey, there's, potential there, but again, getting everyone's likeness, that could be a bit of an issue. I don't think you'll ever see something like Out of the Park Baseball or Franchise Hockey Manager where you can play historical seasons for historical teams of, baseball and hockey. So let's throw, the historical part out. You could still have scenario things like, hey, you're in debt here. You need to dig your team out and get yourself to a level playing field and also reach, X place in the standings by the end of the season. So something like that'd be pretty neat. But really, if anything, for F1 Manager 23, I just want, those first 2 points to be primarily done. Just the depth of the game as a whole and, just AI improvements. But as I said at the top of this video, Frontier, I have a lot of faith in them. They're an excellent developer, and they should be pretty good at taking the criticism they received from F1 Manager 22 and hopefully applying that to F1 Manager 23. So not a lot of details known about the game so far, not even a release date or even a quarter of the year in which it will be released, but I'd like to imagine it'll be late summer to match what happened for F1 Manager 22. But yeah, more details hopefully emerging from Frontier very soon. So if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't seen my F1 Manager 22 playthrough yet, please be sure to subscribe to that playlist and to the channel as a whole. A lot of good videos there, at least I hope so. At least I think so. 60-something episodes into that playlist, so happy viewing. And just all gonna sit here, wait for more details of the game. Thanks for watching.